Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone is doing well. So someone sent me this video through my feed, and I think I showed not similar, but a video of this particular guy, and he's a billion. His father is a billionaire, which I don't know who his father is, but this guy is his name is Marcos. It's a Greek name, and he gives a little insight of the explanation of Charlie Kirk assassination, and everyone is not feeling it, but everyone had questions about Charlie Kirk assassination. Everyone wanted to intaculate. Hopefully, I'm saying it correctly. What happened to him? Because none of the whole narratives that the FBI was telling us or giving us the information didn't make any sense. And they got the shooter and case closed, end of story. But this particular young man, he couldn't explain it better himself, and just the explanation behind it, with politicians, billionaires, and I guess because his father is a billionaire and he knows that billionaire world and how politician works and everything. So I'm going to share this video with you and give you my insights and give you my insights about what he's saying about the whole Charlie Kirk assassination and Erika Kirk as well. So take a listen.
Totally canceled off the internet for having a billionaire father as well as political connections. But tonight I'm going to use that privilege to expose what really happened with Erika Kirk. Because once you understand how these elite circles actually operate, the entire mystery around her becomes incredibly obvious. So take a seat, grab a bag of popcorn, because I might get deleted for posting this. So in order to fully understand what happened with this crazy bitch, you need to understand the fundamentals of politics themselves. So,
by the way, this young man, he has great skin. I would love to know what kind of products he's using because he has an amazing skin. Okay, I just have to say that.
So politics operate very much like a social club with a social hierarchy. So at the very top, there are the billionaires, who write 9-figure checks to the puppet class, also known as politicians, who in return give the billionaire class undying loyalty on the issues that matter to them most. Now, the most important thing for you to drill in your fucking head to really understand this story is that you may look at a President Obama, for example, and think that he is at the top of the social pyramid. That is absolutely not true. When there are these private dinner meetings with billionaires and with past presidents or potential future presidents or even a current president, they're at the very bottom of the fucking barrel.
Pause. And I have to say, I agree with them because like our current president right now, President Trump, he's not the boss. He's not the boss. You know what I mean? He doesn't run the United States. He have bosses, other bosses, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me, including my husband. He said, well, President Trump is in charge. No, he's not. He's not in charge. He is not in control, okay? Another country is in control of the United States, okay? And it's clearly Bibi, and it's clearly Israel, okay? That's who's in control of everything right now, not President Trump. He may think he is. He's fooling a lot of Americans saying that he's in control, but he's not in control. He has no control of the United States. It's Israel and it's Bibi. Bibi's in control. Bibi is calling the shots, and Bibi is telling President Trump what to do, what to say, and how to run the United States of America. And that's a fact. And what this gentleman is saying is absolutely correct.
If you were to compare it to a social hierarchy in a high school, for example, the billionaire is the superintendent of the entire school board. And a President Obama, for example, is like the president of student council. He actually has no power over the school whatsoever. It's completely performative. Every single time you've ever voted, you are really voting for someone that was handpicked for you by a billionaire who doesn't want to run themselves because they are busy ruining the planet. And honestly, being a politician is seen, as I said, in these social circles, at these dinner parties, as a very lowly job. So in summary, every single person who has made it to the level of a vice president or a president is nothing but a billionaire's bitch. So then this brings us to the fundamentals needed to understand the story of Charlie and Erika Kirk. So in 2018, a former pageant queen, Miss Arizona, Miss Erika Franzfey, stumbled into the brand new Turning Point USA office in Phoenix, Arizona. While she was there, she very quickly bumped into Charlie Kirk, who then flew her to New York City for her job interview at a burger joint, a restaurant called Bill's Burgers. At which point during the job interview, Charlie Kirk said, "Forget the interview, forget the job. I actually think I'm going to date you," because that's super professional, but that's what happened. Erika completely jumped at the chance to date Charlie because he was already anointed by the billionaire class that funded and controlled Turning Point USA as the person that was going to be the next president of the United States. This was not something that was a secret. This was not something that was implicit. This was something that was explicit in several conversations. Everybody knew that Charlie Kirk one day would run to be president, and it was a running comment, a running joke that Erika Kirk would one day be the first lady. This was her life goal, and this was the plan.
Oh, I agree. Everything that he said, I agree. That was the goal. That was the mission. And it just dawned on me, him saying that, and I'm putting everything together. That was the main objective. You know what I mean? You have to think about this, okay? Sometimes we have to go back in time, to understand and get a real perspective of what just happened to Charlie Kirk. You have to remember, Charlie Kirk started Turning Point as a young age, 18 years old, okay? He even said it in multiple videos in the past that he had no experience. He was inexperienced. He didn't know what he was doing, but he just knew that there was a purpose for him to go to different campuses and to change something, okay? And the person that got him to start this Turning Point organization was a Zionist, okay? I don't know the particular guy's name, but all I do know, it was a Zionist. But Charlie Kirk didn't know that. You know what I mean? He was young, inexperienced, and then he wanted to start something that was meaningful, started making a purpose, making something important, okay, if that makes sense. And he didn't realize that a Zionist got him into this, and then the group of people around him was Zionists until later on when he was much older, much mature, and he realized, oh my gosh, I'm surrounding myself with Zionists. And he woke up to it and he realized that he surrounded himself with Zionist group, and that's how he was against the pro-Israel, and he had a different perspective of pro-Israel, and he started to wake up about a lot of things, okay? And a lot of the people, the Zionist group did not like that. The donors did not like that. And that's what he's starting to explain. And I just feel like, and I just believe that Erika Kirk was his handler. She was set up to meet Charlie Kirk, to marry Charlie Kirk for a bigger picture, for her to get into the White House, to be the first lady, for something more bigger than Charlie, more bigger than anything else.
And the only reason in 2021 she married Charlie Kirk. She did not marry Charlie, she married the trajectory of the presidency and proximity to power, which is what she always wanted. Erika Kirk was never a stay-at-home wife. She was the operator. She hosted the donor dinners, she schmoozed the billionaires, she sealed the checks, and
I believe that, because you guys got to keep in mind, Erika Kirk is a beautiful woman with her blue eyes, blonde hair, her smile. Yes, she was a stay-at-home mom, but I just believe that she ran the show too. You know what I mean? Just like the gentleman said, Marcos. She probably did all that stuff, built up a rapport with the donors and stuff like that, while Charlie was on many campuses and debating with college students, okay? Erika was the background, you know what I mean? Even though she was not the face, Charlie Kirk was the face, Erika was behind the scenes doing a lot of stuff, pulling a lot of strings, making a rapport with the donors and politicians and other stuff. Okay, you got to keep in mind, Charlie Kirk told Erika Kirk a lot of things and secret that we don't even know. You know what I mean? Because you have to keep in mind they were husband and wife. So be behind the scenes in closed doors in their own room, in their own home, in their bedroom. Charlie Kirk told Erika a lot of things. Okay, because at the time, and which I believe that Charlie Kirk really trusted Erika. He was in love with the woman. He married her, had children with her. So he really trusted her to the point that he told her everything, because she even said she knows everything. Whether she's telling the truth or not, we don't know, because now we all, it's obvious that she's a liar. She likes to lie, and she's consistent with her lies, and she's all over the place with her lies. But she did state that she knows everything.
And she ran all of the events. This is documented. Charlie was nothing but the face. He was the schmuck, the puppet that went to university to embarrass college kids, to then clip them on social media and raise money for his political campaign disguised as a charity. That's all it ever was. And Erika was the one that upkept and fostered the relationships with the billionaire class. The agreement for them was very simple. Do what you're told, ride the youth wave to the White House, and then become president and first lady of the United States. But things didn't go quite according to plan, because somewhere along the line, Charlie Kirk grew the tiniest little piece of a spine. So in 2024, Charlie began defecting on some issues that were very important to the billionaires that owned him, specifically issues regarding foreign policy. The donors began to panic that their puppet was defecting on the only issue that actually matters to them, so they attempted to appeal to him through the only lever of control they had left, which was his wife. Erika then began pestering Charlie every single night, which put immense strain on their marriage. Support the war, do what you're told, you're ruining everything that we built together. And it actually got to the point where this is documented that a priest had to be called to pray over their collapsing marriage, which I believe detonated the night of September 9th, the night before Charlie was murdered. Erika herself admitted on national television that at 2:30 in the morning, she urged Charlie to sleep alone in their daughter's room.
Thank you so much, Alexis Sanchez, 1062. I'm your first one here. Yes, you are the first, and hopefully you can stay on. So thank you so much for joining me live. I just would like to know, what do you think about the whole Erika Kirk thing? Do you think she is the grieving widow? Do you think that she's really grieving of the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Or do you believe that she has something to hide, something more sinister? I would like to get your input.
So he could rest better before Utah. In the morning, Charlie grabbed his ring and his necklace from the bathroom and left for this huge, very important event without saying goodbye to his wife. It's been reported that shortly before his assassination, he messaged one of his friends saying it feels like it's over. A lot of people interpreted this as him talking about his life.
Let me just fast forward it, because this is news to me when he said that when Marco said that, Charlie Kirk said that it feels like it's over. Now, a lot of people, just like you said, is going to interpret that it's like his life is over, like because he did specify that they are going to kill me, but he's going to say that he's not talking about, Charlie Kirk is not talking about his life, that he's talking about the ending of their marriage because of this big blowout they had the night before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So I'm going to rewind this back for you guys so you can just hear it again.
Point where this is documented that a priest had to be called to pray over their collapsing marriage, which I believe detonated the night of September 9th, the night before Charlie was murdered. Erika herself admitted on national television that at 2:30 in the morning, she urged Charlie to sleep alone in their daughter's room so he could rest better before Utah. In the morning, Charlie grabbed his ring and his necklace from the bathroom and left for this huge, very important event without saying goodbye to his wife. It's been reported that shortly before his assassination, he messaged one of his friends saying it feels like it's over. A lot of people interpreted this as him talking about his life, but I think it's very obvious he was talking about his marriage.
Of course. Think about it. Of course, if Erika Kirk is Charlie Kirk's handler, okay, they had a big argument on the night, okay, that Charlie Kirk is stepping away of the pro-Israel. Things are starting to shift. He started a Doge. Things are falling apart. Yeah. What do you think so? Especially, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why why they're not investigating her. But anyway, but he has a point there. You know what I mean? Which it absolutely makes sense.
I
Continue.
think the night of September 9th, there was a fight, and Charlie and Erika decided that they would be getting a divorce. Now, I believe the only explanation that makes any sense is around the same time of Charlie messaging his friends that it's over in reference to his marriage. Erika also messaged the donors saying it's over, not only in reference to her marriage to Charlie, but in reference to all hope being lost that he would ever come back to their side politically, because he literally texted other people that he would be leaving the Israel cause. Now, from the donor's perspective, the looming divorce between Charlie and Erika not only could represent the end of Turning Point USA from an optics perspective, would be absolutely catastrophic, but also represents the fact that the very last string on their puppet, which was Erika, is gone. So they had no choice but to do what the mob does when you don't listen to them after you take their money, which is to get rid of you. And we all know what happened next. Conveniently, a 22-year-old from 142 yards away with the best shot in the entire world got rid of Charlie just in time to save Turning Point USA and anoint the new CEO, which is, of course, Erika Kirk. Just in time, right before Charlie was able to announce the divorce or the fact that he was leaving the cause. Nobody in the history of political assassinations has ever acted as bizarre as Erika Kirk. And I think that thing we're all registering as inauthenticity is actually guilt. Not only did Erika Kirk immediately accept the lone gunman narrative that doesn't make any sense for a multitude of reasons, she actually scolded the public for demanding answers and for being skeptical.
Oh, she sure did. So you're saying, Alexis, I think it is Erika who had to deal with this because she made him go to sleep with his daughter to get more rest. Maybe she could have planned something. Maybe. Or it's a possibility that she could have convinced Charlie that night that she reached out to the donors. Allegedly, I'm going to say, you know what I mean? That she was saying that, you know what, he knows I can't handle him. He's not going to be reasoned with, and there's nothing I can do. And then they probably told her, "Are you sure? Are you positive? Can you try to convince him? Can you try to talk him down?" And she probably said no at the other end. Again, this is just me speculating here. I don't know 100% sure, but what this man is saying makes a whole lot of sense. But let him finish, and then I will give you my my input about this.
The only reason she's not demanding answers is because she knows exactly who did it and why.
Of course.
Within 72 hours of the assassination, the domain Vance Kirk 2028 was purchased. Erika immediately sprints to take the throne of her dead husband by becoming CEO of Turning Point USA and publicly forgives the shooter on camera before we can even actually establish if he really was the killer or if he acted alone. Bullshit, and if you believe that, you are a fucking idiot. And just this week, the orange puppet appointed her to sit on the exact same seat on the US Air Force Academy Board that Charlie once had, advising on foreign policy. The very foreign policy that created the emotional turbulence in her marriage with Charlie, leading to a divorce, and also the same foreign policy that ultimately got him killed. 2028 is already written. You can expect to see her name on the VP shortlist. There is a reason they are marketing her as the widow that overcame tragedy, and Erika is finally getting what she married for all along.
I just have to say that makes more logical sense. That makes more logical sense what the feds are telling us, okay? It makes so much sense. And I just don't understand why people don't see it that way. Again, I don't know what it is with Erika Kirk that people has a blind side to it where they can't see it. I don't know, but this makes more sense to me and more sense to other people. But again, people don't want to see it. They don't want to see the possibility that Erika Kirk may be involved in this, that she knows what happened that day on 9/10. She knows who killed her husband. Okay, because I'm sorry, you just for someone to grieve, I mean, for someone to forgive that person right away when you don't even know, just like Marco said, you don't even know if there's more than one shooter. You don't know if he confessed or not. You didn't know anything. And a lot of people say, well, that's just a Christian thing to do. I get that. Yes, 100%. That's the right thing to do. Maybe she was built different. Or maybe it was just all a performance just to fool all of you guys. She fooled me. I was one of them. I actually said, wow, what a brave, courageous thing this woman did. She just forgave that person right away after that, that public assassination. Then I had to look back. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, something doesn't seem right. Something seems off from the interviews that I had to go back and look and everything. Something seemed off with her. And sure enough, it was. I'm sorry if it was my family member or my closest friend, I'm not going to forgive that person right away. No, I want to demand justice. I want to be involved in the investigation. She didn't do none of that. She basically believed what the feds and the Utah police are saying to her, that we got the shooter and that's it. She's not asking any questions. The things that they're telling her, it's like she believes everything that what they're telling her is the truth. But there's a lot of holes in this investigation. Even Joe Kent last week on Tucker Carlson show, he said that he was blocked for doing further investigation of Charlie Kirk. You would think, after that man said that last week, you would think Erika Kirk would be outraged. You would think that she would get on the phone or do a press conference or whatever on Turning Point and demand cash patel. What the hell is going on? What did this man just said on Tucker Carlson's show, that someone blocked him to do more further investigation? Nothing. Crickets. Turning Point, no statement or anything. That's just wild to me. That's just crazy. And then they want us to believe that everything that they're doing is normal. Everything that they're doing is normal. Let me just tell you something, you guys, okay? That organization, okay, they want us to believe that it was a nonprofit organization, but it was just all about Turning Point political organization, to get donors in, to get the foot in the White House, all that stuff. That's what I believe, okay? For everyone to make lots of money, okay? They trying to disguise themselves as a nonprofit organization when we all know it doesn't feel like a nonprofit organization. It feels like more of a TP USA politician organization for donors to make lots of money, for billionaires, and to do like a RNC. That's what it feels like to me with the Turning Point USA. And it's utterly disgusting, okay? And they want us to think that Tyler Robinson is the shooter. He's the shooter that killed Charlie Kirk, when we all know it didn't. So what this gentleman is saying makes more absolutely sense than anything else that the feds are telling us, which are not telling us anything at all, as usual, or anything. Where's the boyfriend? Like I keep saying, where's Lance? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Anyway, this last video that I want to share with you, I'm absolutely disgusted by this. These people, for example, Pete's Hegseth, Bondi, Howard Luknecht. There's multiple people there. I just don't understand how they can just do a video about Charlie Kirk. Basically, this video is they're talking. A lot of individuals are talking about Charlie Kirk, how they miss him, how he started this organization. And what really pissed me off the most, the audacity that these people are doing a video about Charlie Kirk when they stopped the investigation. They blocked people from every angle not to investigate any further about Charlie Kirk's assassination, okay? You have Tulsi Tulsi, I can't think of her last name. She's not one of them, but maybe she is, I don't know. But you have a few of these bad apples. They're in this video giving like a memorial of Charlie Kirk. And I'm like, you guys are disgusting. You guys are disgusting. But you know what? I'm just going to shut up and show you the video because it's absolutely ludicrous. I have no words because I'm so disgusted by this that they can just actually do this video of this about Charlie Kirk when they know who actually killed him And they have the audacity to do a video about how they miss him and how he did some great work and how he accomplished a lot of things when knowing that they know who killed him. I just don't know how these people sleep at night. I really don't. And I just despise them, excuse me. They disgust me. And it's a shame that you have people like that in our government who can just sit in front of a camera and actually say these good words about this man when they don't want to do any more further investigation, knowing that they know who really killed him, knowing that there's more to investigate, but they shut it down because they say that they got the real shooter, Tyler Robinson, when we all know that he is not the lone shooter. So take a look at this video.
Was a great Christian man, an incredible patriot, a visionary leader, and a kind human being. He started out as the leader of a political movement, and he ended as the leader of...
Let me pause right there. Yeah, Pete said, I don't understand this. He makes me sick. He should be ashamed of himself. Like, he should get down on his knees and repent. I just don't understand how he could just show his face and do a video and like a memorial about Charlie Kirk when you know what happened to him on 9/10, and you just pretend to give like nothing happened. I don't understand this. This is just beyond. I don't know how people can live with themselves like that. How people sleep at night. I don't get it. How people sleep at night. Like, people don't do the right thing anymore. It's just really sickening to me.
A Christian movement, a revival. I think through eternity be remembered as our generation's maybe greatest evangelist.
I was in touch with Charlie just about every single day, going back many, many years. The last time I heard from him was the day before he was assassinated. The most fitting description I've heard of Charlie Kirk over the course of these last several days has been the description of calling him one of one. There was only one Charlie Kirk.
I met him during the transition. I was actually quite nervous. I don't get starstruck very often, but he was one that I knew about and the impact that he had. And so when I met him, he was sitting at he's so tall, and he was at a little small desk, and I was like, I don't think that desk quite fits you.
Big, giant, tall guy.
Pause. You see this guy? Let me just pull this up. I'm enraged, okay? Let me pull him out and show my face. This is just crazy. Okay, really quickly. You have this idiot, okay? Howard Luckman, okay? Let me just tell you who he is briefly again, okay? Howard Luckman is a U.S. Consumer Department Secretary. Howard Luckman brought his family to visit Jeffrey Epstein on a private island in 2012, okay? According to the emails, include the latest Epstein files released, contradicting previous claims that he had cut ties with him years earlier. Why the hell he's doing a video? Maybe he knew Charlie Kirk, probably, but why is he doing? Why is it in there? He dealt with Jeffrey Epstein. He brought his family and his children and his nanny to the pedophile island. Continue on. In one of the emails, December 2012, Luckman's wife Allison wrote to Epstein, assistant on what appeared to be eve of the visit. We are looking forward to visiting you, and we would love to join you for lunch. Okay. Then he went to Congress to testimony in February of 2026 this year, and Luckman confirmed that visit publicly for the first time, saying that he spent about an hour on the island along with his wife, 4 children, and their nannies. He previously said that he cut contact with Epstein in 2005. What is this? This is just absolutely disgusting and disgraceful. Why would you have him here? Why would you have him do a video when he was associated with a pedophile? Makes no sense to me. No sense. But let's continue.
Walks in, full of energy, just enthusiasm and passion.
The first time I met Charlie was in July of 2021, and I did his podcast, and I think both of us approached each other with some trepidation because we came from such different, let's say, constellations of presumptions. and worldviews. But after that, after my first meeting with Charlie, we became fast friends.
I knew Charlie from almost the beginning of his efforts, and he said, we're going to do something with young people that no one says can be done, no matter where the political curve was. Republicans in, Republicans out, Trump in, Trump out. Charlie was always building.
I was really struck by the massive crowds of people who would turn out to these campus events for him, to talk to him, to have the chance to see him in action. The energy was electric and palpable, and it was just so cool to be in an environment where people were gathering together really to celebrate free speech and to engage in that dialogue and that debate that really Charlie did uniquely, period, but also Charlie certainly did better than anyone else.
Charlie was showing up, challenging other people to come and to debate him on ideas, to be able to engage substantively.
His mission was to exercise our First Amendment rights, celebrate and defend free speech, even if it's speech that you don't like or that you disagree with.
I'd tell Charlie, I'm too old to participate.
Pause. Again, it just disgusts me. Her, Pam Bondi, from the DOJ, she's the worst, okay, for her to speak on the behalf of Charlie Kirk. But you know what? I guess Erika approved all these people, you know what I mean? Because, you know, she's in the White House now. She has connections now. She's more powerful than ever. No one can't touch her now that Charlie Kirk is no longer on this earth. So of course she's going to have these people. Of course these people are going to vouch for Charlie Kirk. But it's utterly disgusting to me that this woman could not even release the remaining 3 million, the Epstein files. And on top of that, she knows who killed Charlie Kirk. She probably also blocked the investigation of Charlie Kirk. I'm on Cash Patel too. It is utterly disgusting to me that she has the audacity to say anything nice about Charlie Kirk. If you wanted to say something nice about Charlie Kirk, you will open a full investigation. You would do something about it in your department and release the Epstein files. But you're not doing that. Again, bunch of fraudulent, fake ass people. All of them, except for the majority of the other people that's talking nice about Charlie Kirk, which I don't know who they are. So I'm going to exempt them. But her, Pete Hegseth, that this Howard Lucknick, and when other people did this disgrace, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But they have no shame. They don't care. As long as they're getting paid, they don't care. They have no soul. No soul.
In Turning Point, he would say, no, you're not. You're there to mentor young women. And he cared so much about everyone mentoring younger people in the next generation.
Charlie was an institution, right? And we all know who he is. And he has a meaning to people my age, and older and a little bit younger.
What was key about Charlie was that he was a really good judge of character and a really good judge of people.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
The work he was doing really reminded me of Matthew chapter 9, when they say that the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. But Charlie was in the vineyard every day, making sure that the workers were plentiful to meet the moment.
But you saw this unique transition where he started to talk about his faith, talked about God.
Charlie did get bolder and bolder in his faith over time, frankly, encouraging a lot of others, including myself, to do the same. And I had a chance to talk to him about this a little bit over the years. You look at the problems, the societal problems, the cultural problems, and trying to fix them simply at the political level won't get it done.
If you don't have faith, if you don't have a relationship with God, if you don't start a family, the true things that give you joy, you don't have anything in life.
Charlie exemplified what it meant to have a personal relationship with Christ.
I'm going to start right there. I just can't continue on with these people, fake-ass people, praising Charlie, saying all these good things about Charlie when in my opinion, I don't feel like they really give a damn about Charlie, because if they did, they would have continued to have an open, active investigation and not shut it down, and just pretend that Tyler Robinson is the main guy, which he's not, obviously. But they want us to think that, and they think they got their guy when they didn't. And, in closing, I just want to say, what happened to him on 9/10, and I keep saying this shouldn't have happened, but God had a bigger plan. God had there's a reason for everything that we may not understand, even though it's still in shock to all of us that he is gone and he was publicly assassinated that way, that horrible way. But everything happens for a reason. He knew that he was going to die young. He knew that. And there's something bigger about him being assassinated, something that we don't understand yet. But, I believe that God is going to reveal that to a lot of people, including Candace Owens. And it just really sickens me that it had to go down that way when they knew that his life was an immediate threat. They knew that he wasn't feeling safe. They knew that, the people around him, and they did nothing, especially his security team. There was no drones, there was nothing. They knew that, and they did nothing. And for everyone to think that, and I even had this conversation with my sister. A lot of people don't know, or a lot of people are not following the whole investigation of Charlie Kirk. And I even told my sister, just have common sense. Just think about it logically. Just remove your feelings, remove yourself from the situation. Again, I have no skin in the game. I don't know Erika. I never met Charlie. I heard about him. But just think about it in a logical way. This man was being attacked by donors, okay? He was pulling away from pro-Israel. Donors were pulling away. Charlie was waking up to things that he realized that he was around himself with Zionists, okay? He was waking up to a lot of things, and people did not like that. They thought that they could control him, and they realized they couldn't, okay? This is why they felt threatened by him, because how he moved so many young generations, okay? How a lot of Gen Zs resonated with him. Some of them did not agree with him. Some of them didn't like him, but they resonated with him. Okay, that's what a lot of young voters voted for President Trump. People respected him. Okay, you may not like him, but people respected him. Especially President Trump respected him so much that he was basically President Trump's advisor. He was in the White House. The right wing office or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Again, I'm not really educated with the whole politician stuff like that. But you get what I'm saying here. President Trump really respected Charlie Kirk. He listens to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk advised him to do certain things, and President Trump listened. And a lot of bad people didn't like that. They didn't like that Charlie Kirk had so much influence on young generation, and including President Trump. They didn't like that. And then when they realized they couldn't control him anymore, they had to take action. They had to take action and eliminated the man. Because if he would have became president of the United States, which most likely he would have, if he wanted to, and there was a lot of talks about it, he would have been great. He would have been great, and he would have changed a lot of things. And like I said, a lot of people didn't want that. A lot of people did not want that. They didn't want that to happen. They knew if Charlie Kirk would have been president of the United States and entered that White House, they knew that he couldn't be influenced. Because if they're saying, well, if we can't control him now, what makes you think that he's going to listen if he does become president of the United States? So therefore, they had to get rid of him. Therefore, they had to plan this ruse of this whole assassination of Charlie Kirk, allegedly. Okay? And they want us to believe that there's nothing there. We've got our shooter. We've got all the evidence, when none of it made sense. And a lot of people that are explaining it, said that young gentleman earlier just explained everything. That makes more logical sense to all of us, okay? Because everyone's having conspiracy theories because we're not getting the information that we need from the feds. So when he explains it, among other people are explaining it, that makes more logical sense. And you don't have to be a freaking expert to realize that. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. But they want us to think that we're dumb, we're stupid, we're not educated, we don't know that expertise. And I'm like, it's just common sense. It's just common sense. If a significant other gets murdered or killed, who's the main suspect? The spouse. That's why you investigate. That's why you ask questions. But it seems like when you ask questions, they tend to attack people. Attack your character. Make you feel like you're dumb, you're stupid, you don't know what you're saying. Try to get you fired, trying to block you on your YouTube channel or any social media because you're asking questions. It's like you can't ask questions anymore. I thought this was a free speech state, but you can't ask questions. It's like if it doesn't fit their narrative, then you need to shut up. But no one's not shutting up. No one's not shutting up because no one's not believing anything that the mainstream media is saying, which they're not saying anything at all. They're not, because they're getting paid. They're getting paid what to say, what to do. They're being controlled as well. Okay, they are. They're not being controlled because they don't have enough balls to tell the truth and investigate and say, you know what, this is not adding up. This is not making sense. So instead, I'm not going to say anything because I'm just going to go believe what their narratives they're telling us. When they know in the back of their mind that it's bullshit, but they're not going to say anything because they don't have enough balls. Like most of us, we have enough courage to point out the obvious, that none of it makes sense, none of it at all. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out, that none of it makes sense. And that it is trying to cover their tracks, trying to cover everything up and make it seem like case closed, when it's not case closed. And like I keep saying, the truth is just going to come out. We're going to find out. And a lot of people are going to be exposed. And things will never be the same again, and we're not going to stop asking questions because that is our amendment rights to ask questions, especially it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why we can't ask questions anymore. Anyway, you guys, that's all I have to say about that. Before I let you go, thank you so much for supporting this channel. Also, you can support me on Rumble as well because I'm in Rumble, YouTube, and I really appreciate each and one of you joining in. Thank you so much, Alexis Sanchez 1062, for joining me live. You were the only one, but that's okay. I love each and every one of you for joining and giving me your perspective and your opinions, and I really appreciate it all. So take care, stay safe, God bless, and I will see you guys on the next live. Take care.